What up, though? What up, though? What up, though? Turn this up a little bit. How y'all doing tonight? I hope everyone is well. It's Thursday night, guys. The weekend is almost here. It's popping for sure. All right, y'all. I'm a little chill tonight, as always, usually, but I'm real chill. It's been a pretty cool little week. Went by pretty fast. It's been a little slow. Last week I took off of, being a notary and all that stuff. Like I was just chilling after I came back from Detroit. So I took last week off. And so with this week being slow, I've been doing a lot of admin work and catching up on things around the house as well. And, trying to make sure everything is good. So we are here. We are on chapter 5 of Think and Grow Rich. It's actually going pretty better than what I thought. Because again, as I mentioned in the previous video, I started this book some years ago, but I just never could finish, right? But I'm actually pushing myself to complete it, kind of taking what the author is given and trying to apply it in the areas that they need to be. So we're on chapter 5, y'all. It's gonna probably be a short one tonight, I ain't gonna lie. Um, and again, I hope you all are reading along. What? Okay. Is this? Okay. This looks weird. So we can get right into it, y'all. Chapter 5 Specialized Knowledge, Personal Experiences, and Observations. There are two kinds of knowledge, general and specialized. Now, the author talked a little bit about college and said that professors specialize on teaching knowledge, but do not specialize on the organization or the use of knowledge, which is true. Should have brought my water. Um, they talk about the knowledge and what we should know, all the dates, all the people. Ty, um,
Hey,
what's going on?
how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How you?
Pretty good. I cannot complain. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday, baby. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. So, I'm just going in pretty quick. I mean, it shouldn't be too long tonight. Well, shit, now I'm looking at the notes. It shouldn't be.
Okay.
um, so I'll kind of go back over the title of the chapter 5. Specialized knowledge, personal experiences, and observations. And so there are two kinds of knowledge, general and specialized. The author was talking about, professors specialize on teaching knowledge, but do not specialize on the organization or the use of knowledge. Um, all we have to do is regurgitate the dates, the people, the places, what took place, who won, who lost, all of that, but it don't really tell you how to be successful in life. You know what I'm saying? Um,
Mm-hmm.
and shit. I mean, I went to college for a long time, but it was a little bit more specialized. I went for education, and even though it was specialized, it was still okay.
Hey,
This,
Tom.
yeah. Hey, who's at the
My
back?
apologies. I'm listening. I
Nah,
had to mute it because, people wanted to say hello. My
nah,
apologies.
that's my
Go ahead.
baby. Nah, always. Hey, baby.
Hello.
Hey, boo
Okay,
boo.
that was Corey. Okay, my bad. Go ahead.
No, you good. But for real, it's like, they like, okay, this is what you teach. This is how you handle these situations. But again, they don't tell you how to be successful when you leave out of college. They don't tell you none of that. And we don't know that until after we finish college or after we've gone. And we're just like, what am I going for? Like, I now got to pay back all these student loans and I still ain't got
Absolutely.
nowhere, you know?
Absolutely.
And like I'm like, if we were coming up in this era, please believe I probably would have spent 1 year in college and been done. Not forever and a day on and off, taking out loans and such. You know what I'm saying? Just to now figure it out in my early 30s. So he
It's
was
interesting that you stated that concept because a lot of people feel as though like they've got degrees in business or different things and it hasn't assisted them to get to where they need to be. And I wonder how it's parallel with this next chapter you're about to get into.
I know. But it's so real, and it's always interesting when authors have this foresight into the future. You know what I'm saying? And it's, I guess, again, I'm gonna mention it later on, but nothing is new under the sun. You know, and people do
True.
realize certain things. So it was definitely interesting to say the least. And so this was like a quote coming straight out the book. Knowledge will not attract money unless it is organized and intelligently directed through practical plans of action to the definite end of accumulation of money. So basically, knowledge, you get you a plan, and then that plan gets you to the money. We didn't know that. We just know clock in, shit, then you get your money. You know what I'm saying? You work these hours.
Absolutely.
And then you get your money. But thinking about the last book, I read, 4 Hour Work Week. You like, shit. We ain't got to be at work for 8 hours to be productive. Who told you that? You know what I'm saying? So
that definitely resonates with a lot of entrepreneurs and people that I've come in contact with who are now trying to, I guess, transition into entrepreneurship, coming from a regular blue collar workforce.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting. It's like, I'm paying someone else or I'm building into someone else's dream.
Yep.
How does it really serve me? So that's interesting to hear that concept being like brought up again because it was brought up in the last piece of literature.
Right. For sure. And like I said, I didn't care for the last book we read, but he was definitely on point with a lot of things. Like, why I gotta be here 8 hours? Like, why I gotta be here at all? I mean, depending on the job, but you know what I'm saying? Like, if I don't really need to be here to do my work, nigga, why? Well, I need to say that, but like, why am I here? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's definitely interesting. And then too, a lot of companies are hiring a lot of 1099 workers. They're like, well, I ain't gotta hire you in here. I can just pay you whatever you charge, and then we good. We done. That's business. So I guess it's just different. But when you know, when you don't know, you're just going kind of going through it. It's like, us starting off as entrepreneurs, not really having a model to show us or tell us until we go through it ourselves. So it's definitely helpful for sure. And so basically the author was like, knowledge is potential power. I was like, oh, that's a different little twist on it, because shit, even with potential, significant others, like I'm with you for your potential. I see, I put we. Like I see, like you
said that.
Yo, because we done been there, right?
This is another conversation outside of book club.
For sure, for sure. But this
I definitely recognize that.
And this is what I can relate it to, though. Like, yeah, you might be book smart, but what can you apply it to? Like, how can you become successful? Like, what are you gonna put all of that academics toward? So it was definitely something that hit me for real on another topic.
Yes, it really does, because honestly, like you tap in and I'll tap in and tap out. Hi, Titus. Girl. One thing that I noticed is, hi, Tom. Hi, Titus.
You say hi.
One thing I noticed is that it's wonderful to see the potential in your business plan, potential in a partner. But like you just said, knowledge is void without making a plan of action and then following through.
Exactly.
Just like potential is void without putting action to it and following through.
Come sit down.
And like, it's so crazy how when you make it simple, it just makes so much more sense.
Yes.
And I think that other things can cloud our judgment, other distractions. We get lost in the sauce. But
for sure,
that definitely just makes it more clear. I agree with that concept for sure.
Yes. So, like I said, he was definitely talking. Okay, but sit down though, baby. Come sit down. I meant to put that on your wall, but I ain't did it yet. Anywho, the missing link in education, again, just failing to teach students how to organize and use the knowledge after they acquire it. And then too, sometimes I give out just miscellaneous knowledge. Like, why do I need to know? What class did I take? What's a lot of classes I took? I don't even remember certain classes. Let me just start right there. I don't even remember all the classes I took, and they weren't all needed for my major. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they just pouring out this knowledge, but it doesn't pertain to anything. You don't really need it unless you're like in a certain social group or whatever. So, okay, Titus. And then too, basically just saying, what I can relate it to. A lot of people that we see climbing the ladder nowadays, they did not go to college. They took a trade or a skill.
Let's talk about that. Yes, please. Come on.
I ain't going front. Not everybody on social media is capping, right? A lot of people is making money and they ain't go to school. They learn early, like, I ain't going to school. I can make money off the stock market. And then they learn marketing through social media, all these different things. Yeah, right, girl. Investments.
Multiple small investments can create large returns if it's a safe choice. Like if you're making, and I say safe, but like something that you know is sustainable, something that you know other people would be interested in.
For sure. And not even that. Think about if we knew about investments in college. We could have paid our student loans off. You know what I'm saying? Like if we would have stuck with, it's crazy. It's crazy. For sure.
Yep. Especially the Bitcoin and the new era of the new era of like stock markets. It is so intriguing to see how this information is at our fingertips, but we've never had the tutelage.
Right.
Like the information is there, but we didn't know what information to look for. But how do you know if you're not in certain circles? So quite often we think that it's lame or it's not cool to interact with people who think differently or like different things. However, I was speaking with an associate and they geniuses start to think, and I had to think about it, like people who are not in a box, they think differently. Oh no, this is creative. I like this, I like that. But you expand your social grounds when you're interacting with people who are definitely into like the Forex trading and things of that nature.
Right.
It's just different. But those are the same people who like anime and things that are not what everyone else is into.
Right.
So,
well, not even that though. Let's talk. What's outside of the business book club? Let's talk about parents who give their children that room to grow into different areas, right? Because it has to come from somewhere. Like, you know, some people are like, oh, don't be watching that. You know, when I was coming up, I used to watch different types of movies and listen to different type of music. My mom would be like, what you listening to? But she didn't say turn it off. She didn't say go do something else.
Exactly.
She said, what you listening to? And she just kept it moving. But she let me be who I was coming into. So I think that's also important as well. It has to be nurtured, for sure.
It definitely does. Certain creativity, like if you're not taught it, then certain things just have to be okay. Like that's something in entrepreneurship that I've noticed, like, most entrepreneurs are people who do think outside of the box, willing to take a risk.
Yep.
But somebody encouraged them, probably or potentially at an early age, that it's okay to do that. Like you said, well, she didn't stop me from doing it, but she did inquire.
Yeah.
You know?
For sure.
So, and I think when she inquired, it kind of makes you start to think like, well, what am I listening to?
Right.
I mean, it's like a self-check, like, oh, just seriously, like as entrepreneurs and getting the information from previous scholars and people who are writing and expressing their interest in business or the things that they've learned, whether they're speaking from a past tense, present tense, or even potentially, like you said, future tense. Just like, oh, wow. Have you guys noticed this? Or I noticed this change, or pay attention to this, or if you do this, then that. Like, you know, it just kind of, it's like a self-check thing. And I like that. Because I noticed that that was in one of the earlier chapters, kind of like, you know, what works for you and making a plan and the affirmations and sticking to it and following through.
Go lay down. That's enough. You're supposed to be in bed. You got school tomorrow. Because you wildin'. Okay. 1 second, party people. Let the elevator music starts. Okay. No, you lay down. Mommy got to do some work, okay? All right, y'all. I'm back. You know what he asked for? Little Einsteins. He keep going back to it. He just can't let it go. All right. I think I want to. Okay. So another point that he kind of touched on is saying that a mistake that many make is to stop acquiring knowledge after college. As entrepreneurs, we should always be a student. We should always be able and willing to learn. We should be teachable while teaching others. And I've been hearing a lot of that lately too. No matter how big we grow, we still have something to learn.
Absolutely.
We still have stuff to learn. Because, you know, sometimes the ego can play. The ego can start, you know, growing on you. Like, I don't need to know nothing. I know what I know. I do what I do. And I'm here. But you can be humble really quickly, too.
Yep. Yeah. And you know what's even more humbling? When you are encountering people who are, I notice for entrepreneurs or like a manager, when there is a new person or someone who is a younger worker, they're either newer doing what you're doing or younger doing what you're doing. It just gives them a sense of like, oh my goodness, are you trying to tell me what to do? And it's like, no, look at it from a different perspective. The way that they're looking at it is not the way that you're looking at it. So that's always very humbling, and it's like checks and balances. Reminds me of the government,
right?
Like, and I think, but I like that. I like to be able to learn different things and get different information. It just, to me, it just makes me a better person.
For sure. Because I mean, like, and it can be somewhat intimidating though when that younger person comes up under you. Because you thinking about, you know, stability. Like, dang, I don't want to lose my spot to this person. And then it's like, you know, your mind can play tricks on you when you could have really been like, hey, you know, introduce yourself and just see what they about first. You know, sometimes we just kind of rush ahead of ourselves and get in our way. Get intimidated by the young people. And we got to check, like, we got to check ourselves when that happens, though, because there's no reason for that. There's no reason.
Why can't we all grow and learn? Because just as much as my life experience or previous business experience can help them, their new outlook or their innovative, you know, way to problem solve could be extremely beneficial.
For sure.
So
For sure.
yeah, I totally agree with that.
For
Definitely,
sure.
definitely looking at things from a different perspective is very humbling. And like you said, that's not ego driven, but it can crush your ego if you are too ego driven.
Mm-hmm. For sure. For sure. Trust me, like I said, gotta check yourself sometime.
That's a
Okay,
self
so
check.
yes, girl. So next, he talks about when it comes to hiring. Again, most companies prefer more than just academics. They prefer personality, character, and intelligence. And this is something that we definitely need to start talking to the young people about. Like, you can be an all A student sometimes, but it's what you do outside of school that can help push you and put you into the door, into a new room. Like, okay, so what else do you do? What else can you offer me? Like, do you even got, street smart? Like, do you know how to pivot if something's to happen? It's more than just academics, and that's not the only thing that we should be able to rely on. Um, then apprenticeship. We don't really have a whole lot of apprentices or anything like that anymore. Like those opportunities to like shadow people.
Or don't.
And again, that kind of goes back to what we just talked about, like the ego thing. You don't want people all in your space, or oh no, well, we are doing this, and nah, it ain't gotta be all that. So basically, the author was saying that apprenticeship helps find a definite future course in life. It brings about flexibility to study in your spare time and provides consultation from those in the industry, which is priceless. Again, when you're able to shadow someone who's high up on that food chain, you can. It's real. It's one of those things. Like, look, I like what I'm doing, and I'm gonna keep on going. Or I already see where this is going, and I don't like it. And you can kind of change the course when you're able to get inside those rooms.
Yes, you sure can.
Yeah. But a lot of us, we gotta get there. We're gonna get to that part in a few. But it's like we gotta go through. I guess I can start something. Like start from the bottom. Like instead of just starting,
Yes.
Where I just left off.
Yes.
Yeah, but no, he definitely talks about that a little bit later. That's all. Like I don't want to talk about it too much, but we just gotta start from all over again. Okay.
But that can be very frustrating. I know that that's the
It
frustrating
is.
part.
Because
Yeah.
again, going back to college, we get out of college now. We got to go find a job to support ourselves for minimum wage while still trying to find a job in our degree, like with our degree. And it's like, what am I doing right now?
And here I am with the bachelor's getting paid just as much as the person who said, I don't want to go to school and play these games with you. And that's my manager.
You hear me?
She's Pete's.
Yeah.
That can be very frustrating. It just depends on the perspective.
I know, man. It'd be tough. That's for sure. It'd be tough. So this next one was really eye-opening for me in a way. He was saying anything acquired without effort or cost is unappreciated and discredited. So that means when you pay for something, you don't want to waste your money. So, for instance, you bought a stock trading course for $1,000. What you gonna do? You gonna study? That's $1,000 out your pocket. Like I'm not about to let that go to waste. I hope not. But for those courses that we don't use, we can end up kicking ourselves in the butt years later because we don't waste that money. The information has changed, and now you got to buy the course all over again. You could have been further ahead, and now you back at square one.
That right there resonates with me a lot because I personally work hard for a lot of the stuff that I do. And when it comes to my business, they say that you should not use your personal money to start it. Different things of that nature. Sorry, my headphones kind of split.
Good. But what you gonna use? That's wild.
And making better choices and things of that nature. It just seems very frustrating when you put forth your best effort or put forth your finances and you know what it takes and you don't play with it. But as opposed to when people get taxes or a refund or it's just crazy how we look at it.
For sure. And we'll take all the free stuff. But
Yes.
when we gotta pay, first off, we gonna look at it a few times before we make that purchase. I'm one of those people like, look,
Okay.
I
Especially if it's
don't
over
know.
$100. I think I
Yo,
want it. Wait a minute. Hold on.
yo, hold up. Like, I don't know. I got something coming out this week. It's always that back and forth before I even purchase something. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie at all. But going back to what you just said, Ty, like when it comes, like for us new beginners, again, when it comes to entrepreneurship, we have to fund our own businesses in the beginning because
Yes.
it's just what is going to have to take for us to move up. Our credit scores might not be the best. You know what I'm saying? So we can't really start, personal guaranteeing nothing with our business credit yet. And we still got to build that up.
Yes.
It's like it just takes so long because we're working a 9 to 5. We're doing the side hustles. We got families. We still trying to, have a social life, a spiritual life. It be so much going on.
Yes.
It's like I need the energy first. I need the energy. But
Yes.
look, we gonna make it happen though for sure. We know now. We know now. Um oh yeah, this is another thing kind of relating to what I was just saying. Human beings only value things that come with the price. Look at the luxury brands. Everybody wants to wear it just because it costs a lot. Not because the fashion is cool or nothing like nah, they like, oh, this is a name brand, this is what I want. But you just out of $2,000 for something you bought the world once for the gram, but that's a whole nother story.
Not only is this a whole nother story, it is absolutely beyond me.
Yeah.
Because the people who we tend to want to impress are the ones who are least interested. And the people that we overlook are the ones that we should target towards. So not to be sounding any type of a way, we have built a good bond and connection prior to us being entrepreneurs, so we support each other.
Right.
Dope. However, quite often your support is going to come from a stranger, someone who is like so far opposite from where you are in life or living on the other side of the earth from you. And those are the ones who are going to, I have a lot of my following and people who ask me questions about certain things. They are not even in the state that I live in or even in the country for all of that. Some of my followers on my personal page are from a whole other country.
Wow.
Seriously. I was speaking with a young lady who is she does music, and she said, I got streams over in Belgium. I said, what? See? Yes, because you think about it, when women are doing WNBA and things like that, and people need to make their money, they go overseas.
True.
You have to go to where your niche is. You have to go to where people really support you and see you for who you are.
Yes, that's true. But I like what you said about we look at the people who won't even pay us to give us 2 seconds. Like we got to start from where we at. Like we got to at least look at the next level, not next 10 levels, but the next level. Like see what they doing, what they got going on. That's that. Yeah, for sure. For sure. All right. So, again, something else I found interesting with this is that the author wrote this book after the Depression, which we might soon, we might be entering it, but we still got the pandemic going on, right? And we still got talks of the recession coming up. Yes. So he was saying that the Depression made it necessary for lots of people to add additional streams of income or just get a whole new job entirely. Okay. And so again, people quit their jobs. What they say, like millions of people quit their jobs last year. Crazy. A lot of us became business owners, switched to a different position, started a side hustle. And again, that's what I was talking about. Ain't nothing new under the sun. When the pandemic and depressions and recessions start, it's all about pivoting, not panic. Like it's not about we ain't supposed to panic. We supposed to say, okay, if the society is going in this way, we need to find ways to help people deal with these new problems that's arising. And that's when innovation and creativity kind of come into place. So, like I said, he was talking for sure. Like, look, you just got to pivot. You got to really sit back, say, okay, I got these skills. How can I use them to help these people?
That makes so much sense. And I definitely believe that right now, more than ever, especially with the fact that we just had a pandemic.
Yeah.
We've never had the world shut down like that before. Not that I can remember since I've been alive, and I've been alive for 30 years.
For sure.
And I went back to look it up. So I said, wow, it has been decades and decades since the world has shut down and we didn't have access to certain things.
Right.
With that being said, we have gotten stimulus checks, we have gotten public assistance, and now the prices have gone up and people are not able to keep up with it. So, like you said, inevitably, when things are unaffordable for your economic structure, there is a downfall. Yep. But it is, like you said, how do we handle it? With that pivot turn, definitely for us as entrepreneurs, that creativity, it just strikes in my head to say, you're going to need somewhere to stay. Yeah. You're going to need another way to make money. So what can I do to, what can I do, or what can I sell, or what do I have that you're going to need, but I can flood the market because my prices are so outrageously, affordable that you couldn't resist it. Yep. And then once the market is going back up, as it should, the price goes back up. Yep. But now everyone has raised the prices on things when it's like, wait a minute, they did have stimulus checks. They did get these PPP loans. Girl. But now here they are and they're in a predicament and they cannot keep up with it.
Nope. And now they panicking. They back to the same old. And people don't be looking crazy though, because you should have been saving that money. That's wild for sure.
Should have been or investing, and that's easier said than done because
it is. But again,
prices have really gone up on stuff.
I mean, and again, too, a lot of the people they scam the PPP, so it's like they already had the wrong intentions in the first place. I'm gonna talk about it. They had the right intentions in the first place, so you already know they wasn't about to, do what they're supposed to do. It was just a matter of time before they start looking crazy, before they can't, go on social media without something new on. Like, it was only a matter of time, and we here. You know what I'm saying? So
I was always so caught off guard, and I never understood as to why when multiple people had gotten large amounts of money and it was not technically legal. That it was, it blows my mind as to why, like I said, showing off to the wrong people for the wrong things when the people who would have purchased it from you and you could have actually paid that money back or had something set to the side. So if they did try to harass you, it was something legitimate now. Yeah. It's like, but if you don't have the information at your fingertips, then if you know better, you do better. And I just don't believe that a lot of people knew better because so many people were encouraging them to just do whatever it takes for the right now, for instant gratification. And we spoke about that with the other piece of literature. Right. You're not going to always have instant gratification.
Not even. This is kind of off topic, but not really. But like with Mommy's Corner, my other business for the people on the replay.
Happy 4 years.
Thank you, my baby. Yes. I had to revamp so many times because I was going into different trends and like, oh well, this will sell, this will get me monetized. Like, nah, like when I wasn't authentic with my purpose, with my business values, it did not work for me. Like now it's just starting to, gain traction. I'm just like, damn, if I would have just stuck to who I am, I could have been further along. And shit, I wish I should have, but again, when you're coming up in the industry, you don't really know a lot. Like you say, you just trying to do whatever you see going on. But now I know. That's for sure. Now I know. Um. Hmm. Okay. So he continues to go on about the success is the way of continuous pursuit of knowledge again, being lifelong learners. Um. So basically, he was saying like even if you gotta go back to school to make more money, do that, but never stop learning. He said the one who stops acquiring a will, the one who stops acquiring knowledge will be doomed to mediocrity. So he like, look, you're gonna get caught up in that rat race. If you stop
Mm-hmm.
learning, you stop, training your brain, you're gonna be average. You're gonna be I was like, dang, he ain't have to say it like that, but he was talking. He was talking. Okay, and so starting from the bottom, author says it seemed like the best idea, but it can tend to kill off ambition. It's not encouraging or bright down at the bottom. When you start at the bottom, you start to form the habit of routine, that rat race, and it's hard to stop it because you're like, oh, hey, well, I'm paying my bills. Ain't nothing crazy going on a job. I'm okay. I'm good. No, you ain't learning nothing. You just stuck mentally. You just there now. And so he was saying it's better to start one or two steps above the bottom. He said, observe others in their positions and seek out opportunities or let opportunities find you. So I thought that was pretty cool too. And again, we just talked
I
about
like
that.
that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. And we almost done. It's a few more little things. It's if you are great at your job, it will not go unnoticed. Opportunities are all around us, and if your company can't see your gifts and talents, then present it to them. If they don't like it, present those gifts and talents to the other competitors. I mean, because how long you gonna stay until they recognize you, until they acknowledge your work? They might start taking your work and taking credit for it, and you just sitting there looking crazy. No,
Mm-hmm.
nah, you can't do that. You can't sit there forever and you're not being acknowledged, and let alone being compensated for the extra work. Okay, almost done. Author, we can control. Hold on, we can control if we do that. We can control things if we desire to control them. So we can only control what we can control, but we have a lot in our control. Basically, we think we can't, control certain situations, but shit, you can figure out a solution. That's how you can control a situation, by figuring out a solution to whatever your problem is. Last point, author emphasizes both success and failure are largely the results of habits. So my question to you all, what are your habits and how are they helping or hurting you?
Oh,
I know, right?
we.
I know. It's crazy. So I'll start. My habits, which I'm slowly changing, um, my procrastination. Sometimes I do work better when the pressure is on. However, that's not always the case. um, Pushing myself to get up and do things and not taking granted the time. Um, I think I have those. Those are some. Oh, working out. I've been working out pretty. Being pretty consistent with that. And it's not even just for weight loss. It's just because it's part of my lifestyle. And I want to incorporate that into my lifestyle. For a
Yes.
healthier thing. You know what I'm saying? But I am starting to see some inches. Mm-mm-mm.
I
But
know that's right.
so what about you, Ty? Last little.
Some of my bad habits and what am I doing to change them, right?
I guess yeah.
Well, I mean, business purposes, of
It's
course.
whatever.
So I am generally very critical and hard on myself. I have been learning to be more patient with myself as how I handle things, even if I'm not handling them necessarily is the best way. Sometimes I think I might have planned out in my head. Right. I'm just learning to embrace that part of the journey. I also tend to make the mistake of oversharing sometimes ideas about how to move with my business ventures. Not necessarily with everyone, but sometimes it's good for me to write it down and actually come up with a plan. So one thing I've been doing more is, I think we discussed this the last time, is writing it down. I've been making sure I journal. Okay. And when I journal, to just give myself the opportunity to kind of reflect on it and go back in and see what I could do to make either happen or things that I need to kind of like refocus or revamp. So
yeah, that's good. And like I said, the whole journaling thing, I still haven't got on it just yet. But eventually I will. This is kind of off topic, but I just before I came on here, I was watching Earn Your Leisure. It's a podcast, and they got a segment on there with Ash Cash, and he had the clock on there. Wahida Clark, my bad. You remember she wrote the books, Every Thug Needs a Lady and Payback is a Mother, stuff we used to read back in the day. And I'm like, I used to have all these dreams of writing and I can't get myself to write no more than like what I do now. You know what I'm saying? Like, or at least when it comes to being personal or whatever. And I'm like, she was in a prison. She was in the feds. She was in 2 different prisons in a hole. And she wrote all her books. Well, not all, but most of her books in the beginning. What's my excuse? You know what I'm saying? And not even just towards writing a book, but towards anything. Like, what's the excuse? You know what I'm saying? That's crazy.
I hear what you're saying. However, I have to kind of stop you right there because it's not about it being an excuse. Everyone's journey is different.
It is though.
We really have to, like, when you're looking at it, think about all the things that happened in your journey that she probably couldn't handle, and she was like, "Oh my goodness, I don't know how you did that. I couldn't have even imagined." So, in going forward, you can't compare your journey because
right. And I'm not trying to compare the two, but
you just kind of said a little like, if she can do it in prison, then why can't I? Like, that's not fair.
Well, let me say this,
because I still have all the time in the world. You kind of don't. Your time and your energy.
It's the win though. So when I was chilling, working at UPS, I had a lot of fucking time. It was so crazy. I got the same notebook I started my first 2 books in. And I'm just like, why the fuck didn't I finish those books? Like, literally 2, like, I had started at least they had like 2 chapters a piece or something like that. Never finished them. Ever. So, like I said, just thinking, just a little self-reflection. But no, it was still a good story to listen to them. Like I said, that was definitely nostalgic. Listen to her and think about the books we used to read back in the day. Like I said, it was a little bit off topic, but whatever.
It's not off topic because we're talking about, it's crazy because I get what you're saying, but when you're talking about business and that was actually something that you were going to do, that was a business venture you were going to invest in. True. No, it's not off topic because how is it that we see people do so much more? And I guess that's how I'm looking at it. You were looking at it from a perspective like, she had the time and she did this and she did that, but she had so less than you did and she did a lot more. And you feel there like, when you look at it from that perspective, you're like, no, I have the creativity, I have the freedom, I have the opportunity to be able to invest more finances And it's like, yeah, I hear you. I get it. I'm serious. I get it. But we can no longer do that to ourselves anymore, because this journey, what you're doing right now, it is so important that we are cherishing everything that we're learning, because it's all definitely helping us to become greater. Yeah. And when I say greater, because we're focusing and purposing our energy towards something that will be beneficial. This will be a part of the legacy. There will be people who will come to us and say, how did you? And I remember when I first started, and you'll be able to say, yes, if you could go back and you can reference some of my prior book club meetings, or you can reference some of my earlier writings, or my earlier vlogs that I did with my Mommy's Corner with Ashley, or check out Evansville Notary, or have you looked at my prep website? I remember when I first started, I did this and that. That's how we do it. We pass the knowledge to those people who are interested and they're thriving and they have the fire and the desire to do it, because we weren't given those opportunities, really. People withheld information. I hate the fact that why are you withholding information? We can all make money. That just really still blows my mind sometimes, when people feel like if they tell you something or if they show you something, you're going to try to take from them.
Or like they business about to shut down. Like, no. Yeah. I hate that. I hate
Me
that.
too. I had to say something, because it really prevents you from getting able to have these conversations. And there's the lady that I follow, Coach Stormy. You know, I bring her up. You know, I love me some Coach, but she didn't fell out with some people, and some people didn't fell out with her. And I bring this up to say, she made a comment about her friends and their ethnicity playing a part. But is it the ethnicity? Is it the ethnicity, or is it the fact that the consistency?
Right. Right. And it's like, what's their background? Different. Yeah. When I heard that, I was like, okay, I'm gonna swipe up, because I don't want to go into that. Like, I ain't. I thought that was weird to say. I said that was weird to say. Off. It was so off. I was like, what? Don't think I do anything.
It shouldn't, right?
It shouldn't. However, and it shouldn't. However, I guess it was like how she said it without thinking about where your friends from. First off, they still the same ones you grew up with, or are they the ones in the business? Like you can't compare apples to oranges. You can't say, oh yeah, well my millionaire friends and my my hood, like, no, that's two different things, baby. Now if they both in business, then kind of elaborate, you know what I'm saying, be specific, but don't just say it like that. I was just kind of like, okay, that's a little off-putting.
It is, and it's so interesting how you could tell that there was pain in the way that she was expressing that she felt like she had gotten slighted.
I mean, but like, honestly, yeah, because it was too much drama. Because it was crazy. Like, I don't even be in like certain stuff no more. But once I got on YouTube, and it was right there. You know how they be listening to us and shit, but it was literally right there. And once you touch the video, you had like 100 other videos talking about all the relationships that kind of were dismantled because of whatever beef they had. And I'm just like, she been hurt a lot. But I'm like, hurt don't stop at an age. You're gonna be hurt forever. You're gonna be disappointed in people. I mean, when you give them certain expectations. So it's like, shit. It is what it is.
And it's okay to have feelings. And this is why when people say that, to me, business is not personal, it is extremely personal.
It's very personal.
It's very personal, and it's very intimate. And that's why I said one of those things I've been working on is it's okay to share, but you just got to know who to share with. Right. And to make sure you don't overshare, because this is like your baby. That's how I look at my business.
Yep. It is. Like, you already know, like Mommy's Corner, I be ready to quit every year. Like, I'm not about to pay for this website no more. But I'm like, you know what? That's my baby, though. Like, I ain't going to give up. I ain't giving up on it. So, yeah, that's true, though. It's very true. Very true.
It's hard to give up on something that you've invested your time, energy, effort, and you actually care about.
Yeah.
And another thing that's very hurtful is, like I said, when you see people who are doing things similar to you, or then you stop, you try not to compare, but things happen. We all look at it differently. And it's just being at a place where you are just really, like I said, enjoying the moments.
Right.
Taking each interaction, each lesson, each what you would call, some people will call failure. It just learning, the learning process, it is definitely a journey. And it's good when you're able to take it with other people who are like-minded and focused on the positive as opposed to being reactive to the negative. So
say that shit, Ty. Say it. For sure, for sure. This is a good one though. This is a goodie right here. This is real good.
Sure is.
This is a goodie. So next week, I'm trying to get finished with this book because baby, it's like 15 chapters. So I'm not about to keep doing one chapter per week. I would like to because there's a lot of information in each chapter. However, I'm gonna cut it on down.
Okay, combining.
Yeah, so next week we're gonna do chapter 6 through 10. And then after that, we're gonna knock it out from 11 to 15. Because like I say, I ain't gonna be on the same book forever, especially when I'm just doing one chapter at a time. I'm reading like 2 other books at the same time. So this ain't gonna work. Let's get it done. Get it over with. Get it done.
Okay.
Yeah.
I look forward to seeing you next week, and I will be speaking with you soon.
I appreciate it, Ty. You already know I appreciate you. Like I said, this is a goodie this week. And I appreciate you as always. As always.
Likewise. It's always a pleasure.
All righty, baby. Well, good night. Peace out to the people on the replay.
Yes.
See y'all next week.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right, baby. Bye-bye.